Welcome back to episode 4 of Double D Sports Talk. We've recently rebranded, um, changed all of our names to Double D Sports Talk. The only thing that's not going to change immediately is the our Twitch. Our Twitch will remain Triple D Sports Talk. They put a time limit on when you can change that name. So yeah, make sure you go and follow us on all of our social media. The link is the same thing. You'll get all of our stuff. Make sure you go to our Instagram. Most importantly, we have a giveaway along with our reveal. Just follow the instructions on there, and you'll be entered. We'll select the winner at random in about a week on May 1st. So, Wolfle, welcome back, man.
Yeah, man. I'm just grateful to be doing another podcast on this lovely afternoon. It's already podcast number 4, man.
Yeah, we're rolling right through them. So today we actually have our first guest of the series, Gunnar. He wanted to come in and talk about some Sixers basketball. So that's exactly what we're gonna do. Gunnar, you got anything to say for yourself?
Yeah, just great opportunity to be here. Happy to be here. Excited to talk some basketball.
Any social media you want to promote right now? Now's your chance. If you want to promote your Instagram.
My Instagram is Gunnar with an A .Gallwitz. That's Gallwitz.
All right, so let's get right into it, boys. So the Sixers came off a great Game 5. I mean, you can't ask for much better. They I think it was 30-6 in the first quarter at one point. They ended up with 32-15. Talk about a comeback after that Game 1. I know after the Game 1, I was feeling kind of down on the Sixers, thinking, oh, maybe it's not their year, maybe they're just kind of hyped up, but they definitely showed up in these last 4 games and got the series win.
Yeah, I think the first Nets game was a wake-up call for us. You know, we didn't really have much momentum going into the playoffs anyways. We lost like 7 of our last 10 games in the regular season. We really didn't come out aggressive at all, and that just did what they had to do, beat us, woke us up a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, they definitely answered the call in Game 2. They got me a little bit nervous after the first half, but it all started with Brett Brown, that wake-up call in the locker room, and I think that just got the guys going. That was huge for the rest of the series. Brett Brown getting on these guys, and yeah, man, that just really proved to be a huge factor for this team moving forward the rest of this playoff series. Hopefully, they can continue round 2 against Toronto.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about Game 5 before we move on. So the Nets ended up shooting. I'll pull it up right here real quick. They shot 93 for 30 or 36 for 93. I was working at the time, so I was listening on the radio, but it was 30-6 at one point in the first quarter. Absolutely ridiculous start to the basketball game. I think I don't know who what the run started. The Sixers actually had 19 turnovers, which surprises me. That the Nets couldn't do anything about that. But 56 rebounds, 11 of them offensive, was a big help for the Sixers. And I think Simmons really stepped up in this series. Definitely after that first game, we all know we talked about the booing comment that he had, but
right.
he definitely stepped up and kind of turned the series around. So
we're gonna need him. We're gonna need him again for round number 2 because I mean this is a lot better matchup here. I think what they're going to have to do to beat Toronto is they're going to have to put Butler on Kawhi, and they're going to have to spread the floor. And they're just going to have to play more disciplined basketball. I mean, if you look at it on paper, we get the best of the matchups. You know, if we put Butler on Kawhi and he stops him for under 30 points, I think that we can come out on top in the series.
Yeah, I think the X factor in this series, the Raptors at least, Siakam, no doubt for me. I'd like to see Ben Simmons mark him up a little bit because once Siakam gets going, I don't think that team's really beatable.
And hopefully Embiid can play every game because, I mean, this like I said, this team isn't the Nets. They're not some lower seed team. We're going to need him every single game. We need him to live up to his expectations and be the most unstoppable player on the court, because it's him versus Kawhi. It's two MVP frontrunners going against each other, and I think whoever performs better, I think that team is going to come out on top.
Definitely. I mean, the Raptors are going for the championship just like us. The Nets, they knew they weren't really going to get a championship shot.
Yep.
So it's always hard going against a team that has the same goal as you. And we don't have that much more talent than them. We just have to play better.
Yeah, I think the series really comes down to a coin flip, and the home court advantage for the Raptors for the Game 7. I think that the series definitely come down to Game 7, and if it gets to 7, I'd put my money on the Sixers, but I think it's very possible that we end up getting a 3-2 or a 4-2 series, a 4-1 series even with a Sixers loss. It's really going to come down to just shutting down Kawhi Leonard, because that man, he what he does on the court is of no other. He is single-handedly carrying that team. Definitely a force to be reckoned with when he comes on the court.
Yeah, I saw somewhere where I think Vegas has the Raptors as a 5-point favorite. I mean, if that doesn't light a fire under the Sixers behind, I don't know what will. Anytime a team is marked as the favorite ahead of the team that you're playing on, that should just motivate you to want to beat that team by quadruple the amount of points that team has. That team is favored by.
It's not the first time the Philly has been an underdog. We all know.
Right.
We all know what happened in 2 Februaries ago. But yeah, it definitely just comes down to Kawhi Leonard, and so let's get our predictions in right now. We'll go to Wolf first. What's your prediction for this series?
If we play disciplined basketball, Embiid stays healthy, and these guys play with a motor, I think that we can win it in Game 7.
All right, and then Gunnar?
I'm going to go Sixers in 6. It's kind of bold. I think we're going to steal one in Toronto in the first 2 games, win out at home, probably win again in Toronto in Game 5, and close it out at home.
This is a big series for Toronto fans. I mean, not just because it's the second round of the NBA playoffs, but their Leafs just got knocked out last night against the Bruins in Game 7. So
yeah, that was a crazy game.
They're all in. They're all in right now with the Raptors.
Yeah, there's nothing left to root for them.
Yeah. Toronto's known losers, though, so not too worried.
So I personally, I have them.
Fight us back in the behind.
I got the Sixers. If they can force the Game 7, I think we pull out with a win. But if it doesn't go to 7, we're definitely not gonna. I don't think we move on to the next round. But I was scrolling through Twitter back in, I think it was like, what is it, 04 or something, one of the seasons where we made a run to the finals with AI. We took the same route except for the first round. They played the Pacers, then they played the Raptors, and then they played the Bucks, and then went to the finals. So I mean, that's the likely path for us to take to the finals again this year if everything works out the way we want it to. Could be another final season, NBA final season, which would be nice.
I think if we get to the finals, we'll win it. That's all I think.
Yeah, it really, yeah, exactly. I think this series is definitely the make or break. It's if we win this series, we're definitely gonna make a run for it. Because I don't. If we beat the Raptors, you think that we should be able to beat the Bucks. Because I think the Raptors are a better team. Even
the Bucks.
I think we match up better with the Bucks. To be honest, I'd rather see them than the Celtics in the third round.
Yeah, we never show up to play the Celtics.
Yeah,
I think it's just a psychological thing when we play the Celtics. It's just.
I agree.
They're in our heads. They got our number, and they just do a better job of executing when they play us.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll ask you guys this. Who was the number one factor in the Nets series, like the biggest player that the standout player, we'll say, standout player in the Nets series, and who do you think needs to be the standout player in the Raptors series for us to get a win?
I'll start it off. I'll say Jared Dudley. No, I'm just kidding. No, but I got to go with Joel Embiid. He's just, when he's on the court, literally nobody is stopping him, especially that Nets team. Clearly the Sixers are they're such a good team. They're such a better team with Embiid when he's on the court. And I think the X factor going into this second round it's going to be Joel Embiid. We're going to need him again. So he's got to stay healthy. He's got to continue to dominate. And if he does that, I think we'll be in pretty good shape.
I'll follow that up. For me, it's kind of two players. I'd say it's Ben Simmons and Tobias Harris. Mm-hmm. Ben Simmons, I feel like, is just the engine to this team because when he's on, the whole team's on. He's just dishing.
Absolutely. And
first game, Tobias Harris was literally a non-factor. He had 4 points, horrible shooting. And then he showed up game 2, and every other game after that, we won by big margins.
I agree.
Yeah, I'm looking at the Raptors lineup right now. At center, they got Serge Ibaka and Marc Gasol. I don't think either of those guys are going to be able to guard Embiid. I mean, I don't know. That's my take on that. What about you guys? You think Marc Gasol or Serge Ibaka are going to be able to guard Embiid in this series?
No, you can guard Joel Embiid. Come on.
Yeah, exactly.
Going back to what I said, Embiid just got to be himself. He's got to outperform.
He's just got to play, man. If he misses a game, it's going to be big for us.
I mean, don't bet on the Sixers if he is not playing. I'll say that. But I'm pretty optimistic about this series. I think if we get past these guys, I think we're going to go to the finals. But we got to get past these guys first. So it's going to be tough winning in Toronto. I mean, the last time we won in Toronto was about 7-8 years ago.
Yeah, 2012, 2013. Last time we won in Toronto.
Not to mention,
I think things will change though.
Not to mention this season, I think we're 1-4 against them, and the one game that 1-3, the one game that we won against them, Leonard didn't play. So, I mean, it definitely obviously a different team at this point, but I don't know. Again, Game 7, I think we have a chance. But I don't see us winning it in 5-6 games. I think we need to force that Game 7 and just hope for the team that showed up. What was it last night to play?
Yeah. I think whoever wins the series goes to the finals.
I
just don't see the Bucks or Celtics beating either of us.
Yeah, that's definitely how it's.
I don't see the Bucks beating the Celtics. To be honest.
I don't know, man. Giannis is different this year.
Celtics always have a great game plan against any team, to be honest. That's why they made it so far last year. I think they're going to go far this year. But, I mean, if they run into us, I think they're going to run into a brick wall. I'm optimistic we can beat them.
I mean, my thing with the Celtics is if they lose twice to the Bucks, I think their team's going to blow up on the inside. They're going to have locker room issues like they have all year. They're going to start blaming each other.
I agree.
They're not an actual team. There's a bunch of dudes who play together.
Yeah, chemistry is definitely a big part in sports, in all sports, to be being a championship.
Kyrie may get hurt again like he always does in the playoffs.
Yeah, that'd be nice, because then we definitely get the Bucks.
Huge.
So let's talk about the West a little bit. I don't know if you guys are paying attention to the West, but
yeah.
Big game last night in the West.
Yes, sir. So let's talk about I'm trying to pull up the whole bracket. Talk about that game real quick while I pull this up.
Blazers Thunder?
Yeah.
2 words, Damian Lillard.
Oh, yeah.
That man's half-court shot, whatever that was. Not even half-court.
Unstoppable.
Yeah, that man's got ice in his veins. I saw a quote from Lillard. He he basically said that Russ said that, Dame is a brush off. I don't know if he meant that, but I know this. Damian Lillard had an answer for Russ and the Thunder, and what a way to do it at your own home court, buzzer beater, 3-point shot on Paul George. That's an answer.
50 points in a closeout game. That's
incredible.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, so it's looking like it'll probably be Denver and Portland in that second round matchup. And then you got Golden State playing tonight against LA. They lead that series 3-1. They should breeze through that game.
Denver's in a tight series with San Antonio.
Yeah.
I think San Antonio is the only lower seed team that is actually going to advance the second round.
Yeah, so let's talk about that first. The lower seed teams in this first round. So out of all of them in the East, at least, the lower seed teams won 2 games out of 4 series. Two games out of 4 series, and
that's remarkable.
In the West, at this point, it's obviously not finished, but LA, Utah, and Oklahoma City have all won 1 game, and San Antonio obviously has won 2. So that raises the question: Do you guys think that they should cut down the playoffs into 8 teams, make it in, from each conference, or just 8 teams in the league make it in, or do you keep it as a 16-team kind of big?
I say keep it as it is. I mean, more fan bases get to see their team in the playoffs, regardless if they're a lower seed team and they're the underdog. It just makes it a more fun atmosphere. I say keep it how it is because, I mean, if you try changing it, I don't know, there's going to be a lot of problems. A lot of people are going to say, well, that's why we should have stuck to this. And there's just going to be a bunch of controversy. I don't know. I think that we should keep it how it is. That's just my opinion. Gunnar?
Yeah, I'd say keep it how it is now because I really haven't seen a problem with it, except for the fact that, like, some years a team under 500 will make it. But
yeah.
I don't know.
That's true.
Yeah, I mean, the only reason I would change it is because you're getting these series where they're not really too exciting. Like the Philadelphia series, it was nice. There was it was game 2 or 3 that came down like to the wire. I think it was Saturday. It came down like to the wire. Like that was an exciting game to watch. But I mean, do you really want to watch a team sweep like Milwaukee against Detroit, like just destroying them every single game? Like it's not exactly the most exciting thing to watch, especially when it's playoff basketball. But I don't think they'll change it just because the money factor. That's 4 less games that is coming out of ticket revenue and TV revenue and all that. So that probably won't change. But
just imagine the fact that Detroit beats Milwaukee.
Yeah, but that is
how much popularity that would get. How much ratings that would get. You know,
an upset.
Right. Yeah. I mean, look at the Lightning and the Blue Jackets. The Blue Jackets snuck in. I know we're talking about basketball
hockey is
right now.
totally different. Just as that league is really definitely a toss
But
up.
all sorts of professional playoffs. I mean, a lot of it's about psychological. It's all about I'm sorry. It all stems from a psychological standpoint for all of these teams. And that's why I think that it's important to keep 16 teams in the playoffs because if there's an upset, then the whole world's going to go crazy about it. That's why it's so important to keep 16 teams in the playoffs.
Yeah, it's definitely easy to. I mean, you can just look at the first game of the Sixers series just to write off the lower seed because you think that it's going to be a breeze playing them, but yeah. The Sixers found out real quick after a punch in the mouth in that game 1 that it's not always like that. You still got to play your best and to win that series.
Yeah, plus, like, we kind of want conferences to matter because if conferences didn't matter in the playoffs, why should there be conferences at all?
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. Because also it'll tune down the rivalries. Like you won't see as many rivalries. Like you'll see like the LeBron and the Golden State rivalry, like stuff like that, where they meet in the playoffs every year. But you're not going to see regular season rivalries. as much as if the conferences didn't exist.
Oh yeah.
All right, so let's talk about the final verdict. You guys both got Sixers, and Gunnar, you said 6, and
I got 6. Yeah.
Wolf, you said,
I got him at 7.
So
you said
bold.
7. All right, so we'll keep that in mind. We'll come back to see who's right in a couple of weeks, probably 2 weeks, right? I think the first game is tentative for Saturday, and then that second game will be Monday. Trevor's in the chat right now. He said Sixers and 4. He's calling us sweet.
I'm right.
Yeah, it'd be
never
great.
know.
It'd be great to watch them. I mean, yeah, who knows? Maybe they sweep them at home right now, and we are like anything can happen, man. It all depends on what team shows up. That's really what it comes down to.
Yeah.
For the Sixers,
Anyone can beat anyone in the NBA, really.
exactly. Yeah, number one factor is definitely shutting Leonard down and Embiid showing up and actually playing instead of sitting the bench. He's supposed to be our face of the team. He's got to play every game.
Yeah, man. No phones on the bench either.
Yeah, that debacle. Oh my God. All right. So, any last thoughts on the Sixers?
Fire
Play
Brett Brown if we
disciplined.
don't go to the conference finals.
What was that?
Fire Brett Brown if we lose to the Raptors.
Yeah,
I'm on board with that.
yeah. I think Brett Brown's definitely
Because we're
He's-
good enough to win the championship.
he's on
I
his
say,
way out.
I say we give Frank Vogel a shot. Former Indiana head coach. He's from Wildwood. Local guy. Cool seeing him coach in the Sixers.
Yeah,
He's gone to the conference finals a couple times.
Yeah.
The Pacers.
Yeah, I mean, and there wasn't as much talent on that team as there is on this team.
Yeah, man. I think Brett Brown's like the Mark Jackson of the Sixers. Just couldn't get the team over the hump.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. After how long has he been here? Like 4 or 5 years, right?
Yeah, I say 4, I think.
Yeah, you expect him after last year was definitely his trial season, like with actual team, and then this year they made so many moves to improve the team, and if he can't get it done, then when what will make it to put them over the edge? Like how much more can you really ask for the GM standpoint from getting these guys? I mean, you bring in Jimmy Butler, you bring in Tobias and Bobby, Mike Scott, even like that was a great addition to the team.
James Ennis was a good addition.
Yeah, we made so many great moves this year, and I mean, you can't really ask much more from a front office standpoint. So it does come down to Brett Brown and just how that team works together.
Yeah, all of Philadelphia is going to hate me for this, but I hate TJ McConnell.
Really, I was just saying last night how I love him. He's my favorite player.
TJ McConnell.
Dude, I love him.
To be cut.
I think he's obviously not the greatest basketball player, but I think he's great for the chemistry standpoint, and just I don't know. I love seeing him on the court, man, and getting hype and stuff.
It's a fun bench.
Yeah, exactly. He's not hurting the team. He played a lot last night after getting that big lead.
Especially from a financial standpoint. I mean, he's got a cheap contract.
Yeah.
And he's not that bad for a backup point guard.
Yeah, and not even that. He's also he brings guys up. Like he's a locker room presence in that team.
I just don't think
He's one
he's
of the longest tenured players on the team.
Unfortunately, he's one of the longest tenured players.
Yeah, he's definitely not the greatest basketball player, but I don't know. I love him, dude. I can't get enough of him.
I just hope Shake Milton's the backup point guard next year. I love Shake Milton.
Yeah, he's definitely making some strides to become a better player. All right, so we talked Brett Brown, we talked the Nets series, we talked the Toronto this upcoming series, and even we talked a little bit of Western. Anything else, you guys, on the basketball and NBA?
I think that covers most of it, right? Gunnar, you got anything?
No, I got nothing to add.
All right, so Gunnar, you're welcome to stay on the show. I know you said you just want to talk basketball. We're about to talk Phillies, so whatever you want to do, just let us know.
I'll stick around for Phillies, I guess. Why not?
All right, so let's start it off with what happened last night. Well, no, we have to start it with the first game of the series, with the damn Bryce Harper debacle. So he goes down on strikeouts He's 0 for 2 to start the game. I think it was like the 4th inning. He goes out on strikeouts. The second one was looking, and he obviously did not agree with the call, and so he goes back to the dugout. He's throwing a fit. He's yelling at the ump, whatever. 4 batters later, he who was it? Like I think it was like Gene Segura that was up at the time. Whoever it was like 4. It was 4 batters later though, and he's yelling at the ump, and I forget who it was. But he ends somehow Gabe Kapler ends up on the field. I thought he got tossed. I thought Kapler got tossed, but I don't know how Kapler didn't get tossed in the first place. He was in his face more than Bryce Harper was. But the ump later said that Harper was kind of egging him on through that whole time leading up to that, using he used the term personal language. Whether that just means that he's just cursing at him or whatever. But he was saying things to the umpire, and the umpire got upset. And once he came onto the field, I think he got tossed, and then Kapler charged, and then Harper charged. So, and then Arrieta had something to say about it after the game, basically saying that stuff like that can't happen. We need the chemistry, like we need him to stay there because the guys look up to Harper. Obviously, he's a superstar of the team,
and we can't afford losing him in right field.
Yeah, and we can't afford
we're dealing
losing
with
because
plenty of injuries.
Exactly. So, and then that led to the next game, not until the 9th inning with 2 outs, Hoskins was up, and the night before he hit a home run, which was the Phillies' only run. And he did like a little bat flip or whatever, and I guess the Mets didn't take kindly to that. But the 9th inning of the game the day after that, 2 outs, Hoskins is up, and they throw a pitch like towards his head, and then the bench is cleared. I wasn't watching at the time, but apparently the bench is cleared, and it led to this big thing. And so yeah, anything about that to you guys? There's game 3 of that series is tonight.
I think that pitch behind Hoskins in the 9th was completely intentional, just because it's the 9th inning. It's 9-0. The little incident with the bat flip prior to that. There's no reason why I don't think it wasn't intentional. So I don't know. I think the Phillies are going to remember that, and who knows? Tensions could flare tonight.
I was listening to WIP, and this morning they were saying they should put out Aaron Altherr to start the game and just have him just peg as many batters as he's allowed to until he gets thrown. And they were even saying that apparently the managers are actually like active players, like they can play if they want to or something. I don't know, like something in the contract or the rules.
Well, no, I know. Can't there be say if both your catchers get hurt? Can't the manager act as an emergency catcher?
Something like that. Yeah, something weird. But they were saying they should put
I know it's like that in hockey.
Kapler should go out there and just start hitting players because he's already going to get a suspension and a fine for the last 2 nights. But
because we actually need Altherr with all the injuries we're dealing with.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's kind of insane to be honest with you, the amount of guys. But that's what happens. We're on I think we started. The first series against the Mets started a 17-day streak of no days off, just straight games. And they haven't been home in a week. It's been 7 days since they played at home. It takes a toll on you. I mean, not being home, you got the holiday that just came by, Easter. It's not easy just being like traveling all that time and playing baseball every single day, like not having any kind of day off. It takes a toll on your body.
From a bullpen standpoint, because I mean you need arms to rest, and not just that, but I mean the bullpen, they probably have the most pressure on them out of any bullpen in baseball. I mean, you're playing for the Philadelphia Phillies. Your team just got Bryce Harper and a couple other All-Stars. All eyes are on you.
It's a lot of expectation.
Yeah, there's just the expectations are limitless with this team, and I mean, when you have to play 17 straight days and all eyes are on you, it's going to be tough for them to pitch good outings. So I think it's still early in the season. I think they'll get it figured out by midseason. I know the Phillies, they need another starting pitcher before they try to get anything, because right now the rotation's a mess. Eflin, he's not looking too good. I don't know what the heck's going on with Aaron Nola. The only guy that has been consistent, has shown potential to be consistent down the stretch is Arrieta. So I say we go out and get Dallas Keuchel. There's no reason why we don't go out and get him. Sign him to a 2-year, however much money he wants contract. But I don't know. Beyond that, I say we should probably trade for a pitcher instead.
We just need to get back to winning. You know, we've lost 5 of our last 6. That's not good. Like.
No.
To the Rockies too, man.
They're
before
not
that
good.
series, the Rockies hadn't won a game at home. They were 0-5 on the season at home, and they won 3 in that series against us, which is I thought we were going to sweep them. To be honest with you, I thought we were going to sweep them with no problem after coming off of that the Mets series. The 2 games, the end of 2 games, it was 14-3 in Game 2, and then we won 3-2 in extra innings. That last game.
I think it's just disgraceful to go scoreless when. Against the Mets,
and let up 9 runs.
Yeah, that's unacceptable.
Well, believe it or not, we're closing in on 500. Right now, we're 12-11, and if we lose tonight, we're back to 500. So, we need to start getting it going sooner or later because once you fall under 500,
it's hard to come back.
Yeah, it's extremely hard to come back. It's just demoralizing.
It's not even like DeGrom pitched either. We just
yeah.
Yeah, these series against the Mets, the series against the Mets are huge for us because
right.
it's a division where it's gonna come down to the wire. It's gonna come down to those last few games. Yeah,
I can see us bouncing back. We have Miami coming up, Detroit, I think we'll bounce back. Yeah,
no doubt. This is just a short slump of the many that we'll probably have this season, but it's tough to see so early in the season after we had such a hot streak.
Right.
Harper, he had that carrying over from the last season. He had a 21-game on-base streak that ended because of that of his little tantrum that he threw and getting tossed in that Game 1 of the series. So that ends, but he's still getting on base at least once. Every game, he's been consistent. He obviously hasn't been a $330 million man, but he'll hit his stride eventually. If you look at his career in the past, it's more of a consistently decent kind of season, and then out of nowhere he has this 6-game, 8-game stretch where he's hitting homers left and right.
Yeah, we need to see that soon.
Yeah, definitely. So for tonight we have Vince Velasquez on the mound against Jason Vargas for the Mets. I'll read off the lineup right now. This is the second game in a row that we've had the pitcher at number 8. So to start off, it's McCutchen in left field, then Realmuto, Harper, Hoskins, Franco, Hernandez, Rodriguez at short, and then Velasquez at pitcher, and Roman Quinn in center field batting ninth.
Sean Rodriguez?
I think so. I believe so.
Okay. I think it is.
Yeah. Sean Rodriguez.
We haven't seen him since.
This is his first. This is his first major league appearance. A lot of guys are asking though, where is Nick Williams? He's supposed to be playing that up and comer. He's supposed to be playing that left field. But when you got Harper and you got McCutchen in left and right, those guys they don't need days off. They'll play all 162 games. So the only way I see Nick Williams playing would be if McCutchen gets moved to center field for a game or two, and then Nick Williams can get in there. But I'd love to see him play, but I don't know. At this point, you don't want to force anything.
Yeah, I think the biggest injury to our lineup has got to be Scott Kingery, in my opinion, because he can play so many different positions. He's swinging the bat the best he ever has.
Yeah, we're gonna need him down the stretch.
Losing him and Segura, man. Losing one of them would hurt so bad, and then we lost both of them, dude. Yeah, it really screwed us over.
Pro sports, though.
Yes, it is.
Do with what you have.
Yeah, definitely. That's what happens when you play 162 games in a season. You're not gonna have the same guys every day.
Yeah.
17 games in a row.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. And I think after that we have like 1 day off, and then we get right back to it for another series. Forget.
I mean,
thing for us
what is going on?
Hmm?
You can go.
Oh, thank you. I think the biggest thing for us, is I want to just be healthy after All-Star break and beyond, because that's what the NL East is going to come down to.
Yeah, that's definitely where we need to make a good run. Yeah, I'm looking at the schedule right now. We're playing. We don't have a day off until May 2nd. May 2nd is our day off, and then we get Washington. We get the Nationals coming to town for a 3-game series, and then even then we don't have a game off. We play from the 3rd. Is that first game in Washington comes to us until we get 1 day off on the 9th. And then another long stretch until the 27th. So we're getting 2 days off in the entire month of May, after playing 17 straight days in April. So I mean, if we can't handle these long stretches of games, we're definitely not going to fare well this season. That's definitely something that Kapler and the leaders in the locker room need to handle. So, yeah, your thoughts on that, guys?
I say if we maintain a record that's 500 or better, I say that's a win out of this long stretch of games. Because, I mean, no matter what baseball club you are, no matter how good of players you have, if you're playing 17 straight games, it's just not going to be easy to win the majority of them. So, like I said, I think it's going to be a win for the Phils if they are able to do better than be 500 or better. Yeah, I mean, because the Mets, it's not like they're the only team that's going to have a long stretch of games. You're going to see the Mets all of a sudden go into a downward slump. You're going to see the Nats go into a downward slump. So, yeah, it's important for the Phils to stay 500 or better.
Every team has their slumps. It's just, can you pick yourself up from it?
Right. You hit right on the head with that. It's all about recovery when it comes to slumps. I mean, I think the Phils can definitely recover. I think they're going to have their hot streaks, they're going to have their cold streaks, but once their long stretch is over, I think it's important for them to start winning games as soon as possible, start to get on a hot streak as soon as possible.
Yeah, even not even like when the stretch is over, but just once we get home, once these guys get back into their houses, back into their apartments, wherever they live, it's going to be such a change for them, because being on the road for a week straight playing baseball every single day, that's tough, man. It's harder than you think, because your family's not always traveling with you every single day. You're sometimes you're by yourself. You're with the same guys every single day. Whereas when you're home, you're with the guys all day. You're playing baseball, and then it separates. You get to go home to your family. You get to just hang out a little bit, do what you got to do, and then it's back to work. But when you're on the road, it feels like every single hour of the day is dedicated to baseball and just being around your teammates.
Absolutely.
I think this upcoming home stretch starting Thursday is going to be big for us. Just get back in Philly, win some games against. I mean,
they play the Marlins. Right?
Yeah, we play the Marlins 4 times, Detroit twice, Washington 3.
Like Dylan said in one of the previous broadcasts or podcasts, whichever team beats up the Marlins the most is going to come out on top in the NL East. And I think it's important to definitely win that series, especially during this stretch, if they want to come out on top down the road.
Yeah, so looking at the injured list, Odubel was placed on the 10-day on April 18th, so we get him back the 28th. The 28th we'll get Odubel back, which will be big, because then Roman Quinn can fill in for some other guys. Like I know we said that McCutchen and Harper don't sit, but you're probably looking at a suspension for Harper, and so Roman Quinn will probably have to fill that slot, whether it's a game or two, but he'll probably end up getting fined and suspended for rushing the field. And then we get Scott Kingery back on May 1st, and then May 3rd we get Gene Sikora back. So I mean, we're still without these guys for a decent amount of time. We're going to play a lot of games in that window, but yeah. So it's going to come down to our depth and just what our bench guys can do.
Yeah, man, it's gonna be big when we get them all back.
Yeah, definitely a
Absolutely.
game changer.
Let's take a look at what's going on in the rest of the MLB. How about Christian Yelich? 8 home runs against the Cardinals. That's just against the Cardinals.
Is that the
MVP form?
The kid playing on the Brewers?
The Brewers, yep.
Yeah,
he played on Miami a couple years ago.
He hit. I think I was watching not the one game. I was watching SportsCenter. He hit like 3 home runs in one game one day.
Yeah,
dude, it's ridiculous.
8 home runs against one team. He has 13 total this year.
It's still April.
On the Cardinals.
You guys know freezing cold takes right on Twitter. It's a Twitter. It's like
I may have seen them.
They dig up like old tweets or whatever, and there was this thing. It was like when the Brewers traded for Yelich, they made a post about it, and all the replies were like, "Oh, terrible trade, terrible trade." It's like he's the MVP now. Like,
yeah.
Was he batting over 330?
It's got to be something like that. Something ridiculous. I mean, I want to look.
I think that's what he finished with last year.
Yeah, he was ridiculous
at his slugger percentage has got to be insane. I'm looking.
His slugging is 802 this year.
Wow, that is ridiculous. Yeah, he's batting 330 this year. That's just insane.
He batted 326 last year.
He has 30 hits this year
and 31 RBIs.
He has 13 home runs.
He's got 31 RBIs too, bro. That's insane.
13 home runs.
Half of his hits are home runs. Almost half of his hits are home runs. That is literally insane.
He's an animal.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm looking at the standings now. Did the Red Sox end up coming back from their little slump that they had in the beginning of the season? I'm looking right now. They're 9-15 right now. So some kind of world pennant season they're having, huh?
I mean, it's all part of the slumps, right?
MLB hangover right there.
Yeah, definitely a long hangover there.
I mean, the Red Sox are known for going to worst to first, first to worst a lot, though.
Yeah, you can't expect much of them. We'll see them in October, definitely.
How about this? Last week, I saw this stat. Last week, Votto popped out for the first time in over 6,000 plate appearances.
Yeah, it was to like first base, right?
Yeah.
That was ridiculous.
6,000 plate appearances. That's the first time he's popped out. I've never heard of something like that. I mean, I know who popped out a lot within 6,000 plate appearances was Jimmy Rollins. Remember watching him? Dude, he would just pop out. I feel like half of his at-bats were pop-outs.
Yes.
And a quarter of them were just clutch base hits.
Hey man, at least it's better than popping out. Or popping out's better than striking out like Ryan Howard.
Yeah.
King of golf swings.
So we'll talk about the Chris Davis, his slump that he had. So that we all know about the 2019. He went 0 for 29 and then ended up getting a hit. But what I don't know, I didn't know until just now after reading this article. Last year he ended the season 0 for 21. So he carried over. He ended up 0 for 50, which is the longest hitless streak by any non-pitcher in the Major League history. Chris Davis, we're talking about. This is supposed to be. He was an All-Star not too long ago. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, home run leader at 1.2.
Mm-hmm.
Like twice.
His batting average is. Oh, wait, that's career batting average. Batting average this year is 155.
That's bad.
The crazy part about this whole thing is that it's not like it was just a long stretch of bad at bats. He went 0 for 21 one season, and then like he had a whole off season to
get one hit. One hit.
Yeah, to get
all
one
he
hit.
needed.
And what's he get? Like 40 more. He goes 0 for 40 to start the season. Like
0 for
that's honestly incredible. That's no coincidence.
Honestly, if you look at his stats, he's never really had any outstanding batting average seasons. Like, this is his third time being under 200.
At the end of the season, too. Wow. Yeah, last season he finished at 168. That's crazy. I'm looking at that now.
196 before, 192.
Yeah, and only 6 years ago he hit 53 home runs.
138 RBIs.
Yeah, it's insane. So that's definitely a big drop off after his peak. He's a 2-time MVP too.
Really? MVP?
Yeah, that's what it says. Oh, third. Never mind. I'm sorry. He was
an all-star.
He's probably third in the MVP voting.
Yeah, in 2013 he was third in MVP voting, and then 2015 he was 14th in the MVP voting.
Okay.
He's a Silver Slugger too.
Silver Slugger and an all-star though. Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy. I mean that was the long streak. I remember keeping up with that and just being like, wow, how can a professional baseball player? He's probably getting paid. He's
getting big money.
Yeah,
he's big money too. What is
he's getting 161 million over 7 years.
And under 200. Remember that.
Oh my God.
And he signed through 2022, so they got.
Are you serious?
Yeah, they got 3 more years of him.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I think I could go out there and hit one ball out in 50 at bats for $23 million a year.
Look, if we bunted every time, I think we'd get a couple base hits.
Yeah, you would think that he'd at least get on base, dude. Like, oh, it's just insane to think that he's a pro athlete and was an all-star at one point, almost an
He's
MVP.
basically not a pro athlete at this point.
The coach kept putting him out there. The coach kept putting him out there and saying, all right, you're going to get hit this time. You're going to get hit this time. You're going to hit. Instead of just, like, setting him to AAA. I mean, the Orioles, they don't really care about winning right now, so I guess they have nothing to lose.
Well, he's the fake Chris Davis as of right now.
True. Yes.
There's a better Chris Davis out there.
Yep, on the A's. He just got a 2-year contract. He's a special player. He's the complete opposite of what Chris Davis is on the Orioles.
It's not much harder to be the opposite of Chris Davis on the Orioles.
You almost have to feel bad for him, though, because he's like a laughing stock.
Yeah.
Dude,
I saw one of his interviews. He was saying how the fans were behind him and they hope he got a hit.
They're not
can't
behind
imagine like the fans. If he played in like Boston or New York, he would get completely booed out of the stadium. But I don't know. Props to the Orioles fans for sticking behind him. I mean, let's not lie. I think it would happen in Philly too.
No, man, Philly would eat that up. I think Philly would destroy him.
Yeah, we would boo him out of the city.
Yeah,
people would throw stuff at him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he wouldn't have been able to walk outside wherever he lived if he played in Philly. 0 for 50. That's insane. All right, so anything else on the MLB? We can move on to a little bit of draft talk if you guys want to.
Yeah, let's move on.
Yeah, I'm down.
So the draft is tomorrow. The Eagles have, I think it's the 25th pick. 25th pick, yeah.
25th.
So the draft starts at 7. So the Eagles probably pick around 9 o'clock, barring no trade movements. I know I really want Dexter Lawrence to go to the Birds. A lot of guys now are saying that we're going to get some sort of wide receiver in the first round. I think we need Dexter Lawrence only because it'll take the pressure off Fletcher Cox and I know we got Malik Jackson. I know but those guys they're pass rushing kind of defensive tackles,
right.
And we don't have. Dexter Lawrence is 6'6" or something, 6'7", and he weighs 350 pounds. He's a big man, and I'm a Clemson fan. I'm not front runner. Been a fan for a long time. Whatever, whole different story. But I watch almost all their games, and he moves, dude. He's an athletic man for 350, and I think that it's very important for us to get just pressure off Fletcher Cox. The less he plays, the better, because obviously we need him fresh. When he's fresh, he's an absolute beast. and we need a big man because in the NFC East, who do we play twice a year? We play Saquon Barkley and we play Ezekiel Elliott. 2 times a year we get the versus some of the best, if not the 2 best running backs in the league. So it's definitely important for us to upgrade our defensive line and get a big man in there just for some run support. So you guys, who do you guys think that we're going to take?
I honestly hope we take Devin Bush from Michigan, linebacker. Kid's only 20 years old, and he's ranked the 2nd best linebacker. In fact, Chris Collinsworth had the Eagles taking him in his mock draft. But I don't know. Most analysts have your guy getting taken by the Eagles, Dexter Lawrence. I mean, I wouldn't mind if we got either of those guys. I just hope we get a guy on defense, D lineman or linebacker. I don't think we need a running back because, like I said earlier in one of our previous podcasts, we have plenty of running backs. We have that 1, 2, 3, 4 punch. I think it would just make no sense if we got a running back in the first round. I mean, I can see us taking a running back in the 4th or 5th round, but I feel like that's just wasteful if we pick a back in the first round. I think we're reaching if we take it back in the first round. So, yeah, I mean, as long as we get an offense or a defensive lineman, a linebacker, and, I mean, even an O lineman I wouldn't mind taking.
I was going to say, would you be opposed to an O lineman to maybe
No. Yeah, that's the only exception on offense is if we get an offensive lineman.
You know, Carson Wentz is coming off injury-riddled season. Let's not sugarcoat it.
We can get a quarterback. Donovan McNabb would agree.
I don't care what McNabb says. I don't know, man. I'd go with an O lineman.
Yeah, that's definitely the only exception for offense.
Yeah, we definitely need. It's
a position player.
It's a tough spot. It's a tough spot because we need a guy now to play because Sayamalu is not going to. I mean, he'll get the job done, but we need like a star
He's
guy.
not going to pull for a 16 game.
And we also need somebody to back up Jason Peters because his career is coming down to an end. I agree with Wiffle. If we don't get, I want Dexter Lawrence 100%. If we don't get him, I think we should go offensive tackle. It's a tough spot because do you go tackle or do you go guard? Do you invest in your future for a tackle and let somebody sit behind Jason Peters and just let them learn, or do you go for a guard and just hope they go out there and perform like this season, like right this minute? It's really a toss up.
Yeah, especially because we have the all-in mentality right now. We don't want guy. I think we should get a guy who can play right now. I don't think we should get a guy who, let's let him develop and
you don't want to pro.
Yeah, because I mean the time to win is now. We have a franchise quarterback who is 50-50 from a health standpoint. We need to go all in. Cash go all in right here. So that's my standpoint. Regarding a guard or a tackle, I think it's best whoever's best available. That's who we should go with. So yeah, that's my opinion.
Doesn't it feel nice being this low in the draft, though?
Yeah, absolutely. It'd feel even nicer if we had pick number 32.
Hey, we did a couple years.
We did, yep.
And then traded it away to the Ravens.
Yep. That was for Timmy Jernigan, right?
Yeah, we ended up getting Jernigan, and yeah, they picked Lamar Jackson at 32.
Did he sign with the team?
I'm not sure. I'll look it up right now. I'm pretty sure he did. I think he's still under contract. I think he's.
No, he's a free agent. I just looked it up.
Oh wow.
How annoying is he?
Yeah. I mean, worst case scenario, we can re-sign him if we don't get a D tackle early.
He probably wants some good money though.
Yeah.
He only played 3 games last year. Wow. So. Yeah, and then let's talk about the Nelson Aguilar. He's apparently in trade talks.
He's on the trade block. Yeah. I mean, he's very replaceable. If we trade him, then first off, what are we going to get back if we do trade him?
Probably like a 4th round pick.
Think a 4th.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really see the point of trading him. I think he's fine where he is. We don't really need, like I said, I hope to God that we don't get a wide receiver first round. Obviously, somebody's gonna like record this and it's gonna bite me in the ass. We're gonna draft like some all star, but I hope we do not go wide receiver first round. I hope we, like I said, D tackle or O line.
I don't think we need to go wide receiver. That's the thing.
Yeah,
No,
but it's literally
absolutely not.
every single mock draft I'm seeing is saying we're going receiver.
No way.
But
That's ridiculous.
I'll look up ESP's mock draft. From
If anything, it's just say running back.
I mean, are you taking Josh Jacobs if he's there still?
Josh Jacobs,
From Alabama.
Alabama running backs are questionable.
yeah, and
I mean, I hope he's gone before the Eagles have a chance.
Yeah, not even being
because
that.
it makes things a lot
I
easier.
don't think he will be though.
I don't know. I think it just doesn't make much sense for us to get a running back. Obviously, we need the help, but a first round running back, like
It's a reach for us because we need other positions to fill.
Exactly, like
There's
like
many voids on this team.
Yeah, like we need the help at running back, but there's plenty other of positions that we could get that will help us out. So yeah, anything else, guys? We're coming up on the.
How about the Redskins? I heard they want to trade up for the first pick and get Kyler Murray.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think they're going to trade. I do think they're going to trade up. I just don't think they're going to trade up to the first pick.
Yeah, the Cardinals seem pretty set on Murray.
Yeah, I think the Cardinals, they're going to pick Murray. They might trade Rosen to the Redskins. Or, I mean, the Redskins could trade up to pick number 3, trade with the Jets, and get Dwayne Haskins.
You know what I wouldn't mind?
What's that?
If we signed Spencer Ware as a free agent.
I don't know about that.
Dude, he's not that old.
He's dealt with a couple injuries in the past, though, I think, right?
I mean, he had a decent season last year, backing up Hunt for most of the year.
Yeah, but I mean, worst case scenario, if we really want a running back, we can just draft one late. Because, I mean, in this day and age, running backs are a dime a dozen. I mean, just look at Matt Breida, Kerryon Johnson. Didn't Kerryon Johnson get picked late?
He did.
Philip Lindsay,
undrafted. Corey Clement. I mean, I think it's completely unnecessary to sign any free agent running backs. I think if we really want a running back, pick one late because, like I said, we have too many positions that are voided. We need to fill them. So any running back we pick above the 4th round, I'd say, is a reach for the Eagles.
I agree. We don't need to pick one high.
Yeah.
All right, so we are coming up on the hour mark. I know we don't like our episodes being more than an hour. The next show will probably be next Wednesday, but to know for sure, follow us on Instagram. We post all our updates there. And make sure you head over there, and we're doing a giveaway. Not many people are aware of it, I guess, but make sure you just gotta follow us, put the post on your story, and tag 3 friends, and you're automatically answered. We'll pick that winner at random on May 1st. It's a $20 Amazon gift card. So Gunnar, thank you so much for coming on here, being our first guest ever.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, Wolfle, any finishing thoughts?
Nah, man. Gunnar, it was a pleasure having you, man. For everyone tuning in, we appreciate you guys. Stop in next Wednesday. We don't know if we're having our podcast on that afternoon for sure, but stay updated. Stay tuned. We love you guys.
Yeah, well, have a good one, guys. We'll see you.